Born in New Orleans, youngest of four, innocent, with my whole life ahead of me. My parents raised us well. We had a good, solid foundation. Raised in the church every Sunday. Yep, we was some PKs. Fast forward, I grew up and ran away from everything I was ever taught. I ran completely away from God. I didn't want anything to do with Him. I felt like we went to church so much, I was all churched out. Not having that relationship with God, I began to drink and smoke. Worst thing I could possibly ever do. My life changed. I changed. I didn't even recognize myself. The further I drew away from God, the more worldly I became. The drinking picked up like crazy. I actually became an alcoholic. I needed a drink every day. I then became very promiscuous, seeking validation and attention in all the wrong places. Very far off from daddy's little girl, the innocent one. The enemy had me exactly where he wanted me at. Abusing drugs and alcohol, living a promiscuous lifestyle, and very deep into the world, very deep into my sin, and very far from God. And of course, living a promiscuous lifestyle, I became pregnant. I became pregnant off a drunk night. One night of lust, one night of a lustful decision, changed everything. I was 22 years old when I had my son. Lord knows I wasn't ready to be a mom, especially with the type of lifestyle I was living at the time. However, thinking back on it, I see it as a blessing in disguise. God knew I needed my son. Just look at him, a spitting image of me. Looking at him was like looking at myself in the mirror. I knew I would not fail him. But honestly, I felt shame, guilt, and hurt for him. I felt like my bad decision making cheated him out of the opportunity to be raised in a home with a mom and dad. Just how I was raised. However, my dad, Raphael Caldwell Sr., the man of the hour, always stepped up. He's been in my son's life since birth, and for that, I am forever grateful. He is the man in his life, and that is his dad. Suppressing anger and hurt, I dove back into the only thing that ever made me feel comfortable, and that was doing music. It was my scapegoat. I felt free. When I feel like people didn't understand me, I get to talk it out in my music. Just me, my melodies, and my thoughts. Freedom. However, my music became darker and darker. The more and more I would sit and think about everything, the more and more angrier I would get. Life, trauma, hurt, rejection. My music became cold. It was very dark. It wasn't exciting anymore. Every time I went back to write, it was because I was feeling some type of way. And it was never a good way, most of the time. I started promoting violence, sex, drugs, manipulation, all the wrong things. All the wrong things that God did not give me my gift for. It was never intended for that. By this point, the ways of the world really set in. I was really just surviving and not living. Everything about what I did was very far away from God. My trust in men was shattered and non-existent. Heartbreak after heartbreak. I knew this couldn't be for me. I opened up a door of homosexuality and got married. I thought it was the right thing at the time, but God had other plans. In October 2023, I surrendered it all and gave my life back to Christ. I knew that He was the only thing that could save me, and get me out of all the things that I have gotten myself into. Best decision that I've ever made. The peace, joy, and understanding that surpasses all is unexplainable. To this day, I am grateful, a child of God, and a changed woman forever.
Because God said that He's going to pull you through, just grab my hand, pull you to where He promised you. Yes, sir.